Hi guys, Assalamu alaikum. Hope you guys are well. Guys, I want to talk about how you can reduce your overhead in the long term by buying some of the overhead expenses. Sounds weird. If you have rent, as an example, there's a good possibility you could buy your own property if your business is long-standing business, and then become your own tenant, so that the rental that you're currently paying towards your overhead can now allow you to become a property owner. Interest rates are high, but you're still paying your rent. And because interest rates are so high, you're going to look for a property, or your property that you're in, if you buy it, you're going to look for a good deal. So if you have an overhead of rental, you want to convert that into being your income and expense. So in the business, it's an expense, but as a property owner, and if you bought the property, it's an income. To buy the property, on the other hand, you're going to need at least a 25% deposit, and you're going to need a track record of being a good tenant. So if you're in your property for a long period of time, why not approach your landlord and say, listen, I may want to buy this property, and then look to find 25% of the money in your business and convert your expense to an investment, and an investment for yourself. That's one example. The other example, which is great, is that if you are in a position where you have other expenses in the business, I'll just give you a few. Let's say, for example, that you're doing a lot of deliveries, or let's do another example. Let's say you're an architect and you're doing a lot of printing, or you're a doctor and you're doing a lot of work where you're utilizing equipment that's being rented. You can now be in a position to start replacing that expense with buying the capital item that you're renting. So the point of what I'm saying to you is that there are some expenses that you need to look at in your income statement or in your expenses every month, and see whether you could be paying yourself that money. And there are plenty of expenses like that. You need to go through all of your expenses on a monthly basis and see, listen, okay, I turned my rent into an investment because I'm the landlord. Fantastic. I could turn some lease expenses of motor vehicles or rent expenses of motor vehicles into vehicles that I own, and the vehicles can be released or rented to your own company. And there are many other examples. For example, just a simple example, let's say you're renting a photocopier for 2,000 Rand a month. You can now find yourself in a position where you buy the photocopier and rent it back to your business. Now I'm talking about bigger photocopy machines like 10 grand a month, and those that you have in these corporates. Those are ones you can save a bit of money on and have a maintenance agreement on it. The other issues which are very critical is for you to now go and look at all of those expenses at the end of the month and see where you can cut some costs, because we're moving to a time where interest rates are not coming down from the looks of things as I originally thought. But that means that you need to find additional and more income to pay your bills, especially your interest bills, your installments for your bonds, your installments for your motor vehicle, etc. In your business, you need to become more creative now and start reducing some expenses, because you don't maybe need all of those expenses. So just heads up, try and turn some of your expenses into an investment, like the property one, and try and reduce some of your expenses, because if you're not reducing those expenses, you need to find other income. And in a market that's sort of receding, where retail is difficult, where wholesaling is difficult, where business in general is very difficult, you're going to find it difficult to meet those monthly expenses. I know this sounds all doom and gloom, but please try and tighten up the budgets, and please also try and sharpen those pencils so that the costs are slightly lower. Love you lots.